Hello, hello, hello. It's Stephanie here from Rent to Rent Success, and I am joined again by the lovely Mark Fitzgerald from Podlets.
Hiya.
And today we are going to talk about something that I know that you will want to talk about, which is direct to landlords. How to get properties direct to landlords, what to say when. Mark has been amazing at this. He's got 9 rent-to-rent HMOs since the beginning of February, and we're only in, October. So it's in a very short period of time. So we're just gonna find out Mark's tips. Remember to subscribe to this channel, and like this video and all that jazz. Okay, Mark, how you doing?
All right. Thank you very much. So, I mean, when getting landlord leads and everything, there's nothing better than landlord letters. So get your letters out there because you're going straight to the source, and the source is coming straight back to you. You know, if somebody rings you, they've got a problem. They're either struggling with their letting agent, or they've got voids, or it's not being managed properly or looked after, or they're self-managing and they're just fed up with doing it. Because you know, managing multi-let properties is a business. It's not something you can do as a hobby. You can do maybe 1 or 2 as a bit of a hobby on the side, but as you start to build it up, if you've got more than that, it can be quite labor intensive if you haven't got the right systems in place. So, I mean, really, it's taking that phone call, which if you're early on, I know for a fact you're going to be quite nervous. So it's good to have a little sort of checklist or a little script in front of you as well, which will help you out and just gives you sort of the confidence and the knowledge to do it. So, I mean, the main thing is when you answer the phone is to take the name, ask them if this is the best contact number to get them back on, and then obviously start going into the property. So you just, ask them about the address, be quiet and let them start talking. That's one of the beauties that I like, because, you're basically telling them a bit about who you are. They'll probably ask you a question, got your letter, see that you do guaranteed rents, how does it work? Give them a little overview. So basically, how it works is we basically act as a management agent for your property. We look after it as if it was our own, and we can offer a guaranteed rent because we keep it at such a high standard. We know we're going to keep the rooms tenanted. But if there are any tenant issues or voids or minor maintenance issues, we sort all of those out without having to disturb you at all. It really is a great way to hassle-free and hands-free investing.
Oh God, that sounded so good. Yeah, loving it.
I've done it once or twice.
Yeah, we've done it a lot of times, it looks like.
Yeah.
So, within the Kickstarter program, obviously we do give the checklist of what to say when the landlord calls, and the whole process from writing the letters, what to put in the letters to make them irresistible, and all of that, because going direct to landlords really is a game changer. You'll find a lot of things are true when you go direct to landlord. One of the things that is true is that most landlords, and you can talk to me about this in a minute, Mark, do not ask for references, financial referencing. No. So with your direct to landlords, Mark, has any of your landlords asked for financial references?
Not financial references. I think, you've got to come out with some sort of credibility. So, you just need to make them feel comfortable, because at the end of the day, landlords are used to giving their property to somebody else, i.e. even if they're self-managing, other people are living in their properties. Now, they will only try and pick the people that they think they can work with and trust. So if you can build up the rapport, which is massive, build up the rapport with them, make them feel comfortable. And one of the ways to do that, and one of the best ways to do that, is to listen to them and their problems, and just ask them delving questions. Why have you called me? How can I help you today? And just be quiet then. I struggle with that, being quiet, but I've taught myself to be quiet and listen to their pain. And it does, and it helps. It gets it off their chest. And sometimes they won't tell you a lot. Sometimes they'll just be, well, what rent will you give me? What rent will you give me? And always try and get a viewing. So the rent that I can give you is obviously subject to seeing the property. I need to have a look around it. Let me come and meet you. Let's have a coffee or something, and just build up the rapport. And you can delve deeper and get to know what their issues and problems are. Then you can work on finding a solution for their issues and problems. And everybody has a little bit of a different one, but 9 times out of 10, the main thing is they're either fed up with a letting agent, they're fed up with a hassle, or they just can't get tenants and are losing money. So if you can make them money to the point that they're happy and make money yourself, it's a win-win.
It's a fantastic business, isn't it, Mark?
Great, yes, brilliant. I love it.
I just love it because everybody's a winner when it's going right. And even though, because that's another thing that people do ask me, is they say, well, if it's been so much hassle for the landlord and they can't fill it, or they can't do this, or they can't do that, what makes you think you can do any different or better? And it was to the point that you said earlier. Basically, it's the systems, because even when we used to run it ourselves, we had the systems, but now we've also got systems, and Luke as well, who works for us full time, who's our assistant property manager, which he's been promoted, but he's very, very good. And it's those systems and the way of working right from the beginning when you start that we give you within the Kickstarter program, and helps people to be able to grow if they want to, or just keep it to a couple of properties and do it yourself if you want to as well.
Yeah. Well, I started out, as I say, in February with you guys, and I've got to where I am now because of that training, because I've been on that program, because I invested and got that knowledge, and it just helps. And the rest of it you can tweak to give it your own persona and your own personality as you go. And you build up your own brand, and you can build up your own business, or you can just do it on the side and just have a 2 or 3 and use it as pocket money. It's great. It's a great business. Just got to make sure it's a win-win. Make sure the landlords are happy with what you're offering. Make sure that you're making enough money to make sure that you don't lose interest in it as well, because you do have to stay on top of it.
So, Mark, let me ask you something, because just when you said that it's down to the course, I always think it's two things come together and it makes magic. But let me ask you, did you, because you just come across as so confident, when you first started, were you already like confident and like you are now, or what was the journey? Did you feel worried, or maybe you didn't beforehand?
No, yeah, I did. I mean, I come from a corporate background where I've used to manage 40 to 60 to 80 people as a production manager. And so I'm all right talking to people. I'm good at delegating. I can tell people what to do. I'm very good at putting my arm around people as well. But when I started doing this, I was out of my comfort zone because I didn't know the people that I was talking to. So, I've always said this, my first phone call was a car crash. It really was. I'd made it up myself. You know what I mean? This list, I'd taken some of the things from you. I'd taken what I thought, and it was so robotic that it was very poor. But it comes over time. So as you get the education, and as you get the proper information in front of you, it gives you that confidence. So it's a bit like talking to letting agents and things. I was very worried about going in and talking to letting agents. I can go in there, but I wanted to go in there and look professional, make it look like I knew what I was on about. And once you've done and educated yourself, you go in there and you do know probably more, particularly about what you're doing anyway and what you're offering, than the letting agents do in their roles. Because it's your business, if you know what I mean. You've got to know, and that gives you a boost. So I used to look in the windows of letting agents, or I used to get a phone call and see it on my landlord phone. I think, oh, crikey. But a bit of nerves helps as well, because it keeps you on point. Mm-hmm. And I think being nervous keeps you sharper than if you're so lackadaisical, you're just wandering in. But now it's like water off a duck's back, and it's just that progression of time. And having that knowledge to know this is what to say, maybe this is not what to, this is what not to say. Keep it along these channels and these lines, and you can gather some really good traction.
Yeah, well, I just remember after your first calls as well, it was just like, oh my gosh, it's like, first of all, it's like drama, excitement. Oh my God, my phone's ringing. Oh my God, there's no number. That's possibly a landlord. And then it's like, oh, what do I say? And then your heart's pounding out of your chest. But yeah, it obviously now it's just like, oh, a landlord. It's still of interest, obviously, but I'm not bouncing off the ceilings.
Well, I even used to get nervous doing the Zoom calls that we did each week, because I'd never done them before. So It was like, oh, crikey. Oh, I don't want to make a fool of myself or anything like that. But the one thing is, nobody else knows what you're going to say. So even if you do make a mistake, just go with it. Don't stop and say, oh, no, I shouldn't have said that. Just go with it, because 9 times out of 10, they don't know that you've gone wrong. So just keep going.
Perfect. So because of me, we've gone slightly off, but is there other things that you would say have really stood you in good stead with going direct to landlords then, Mark?
Well, I think for me, it's the best way to build this business is going directly to landlords, because you cut the middleman out. So you think if a letting agent finds you a deal, they might want a slice of the action, which obviously can dent either your profits or mean that you have to offer a lower rent in theory to the landlord, because they've still got to pay for the letting agent. You might have a referral fee as well. So I've really pushed hard with the landlord letters. Networking as well is a good one. Just getting out there, go to property events, go to business events if you can. Just tell people your business, what you do, because there's a hell of a lot of people that are landlords that you wouldn't even know are landlords.
And Mark, tell us about the networking events that you go to regularly, so that people can know if they want to see Mark, there's a good chance that you'll be at these events.
Well, I do a lot of my local ones in South Yorkshire as well. I always go to my local PIN event as well, and that's a great opportunity, because you know a lot of the major cities have got those, and you can meet landlords. A lot of people turn up at PIN events who are very new, that are our landlords are looking for, you know, to do more deals. So you know, you might be able to say, well, I can manage that for you and take all the hassle away, and you can go off and sort your deals out.
Yeah.
And yeah, so a lot of breakfast events. So go on Facebook, go on LinkedIn as well, and look what's in your local area or in the areas that you want to do your rent-to-rents in, and try and get to a few of those networking events as well. There's a lot of different ones in different areas, but it's worked really well for me.
Yeah, it's absolutely has. And I was just going to mention Eventbrite, because a lot of the events seem to be on Eventbrite, lots of the property events. And the other top tip is to go to the landlord events, because they tend to be people who are self-managing in a different kind of way, less of a property investor type and more of a landlord on the side type. And nearly every local area has got them. We've got our Gwent Landlord Association. I think I've muddled it up, but there's also ones in Cardiff, which is nearby as well. So your landlord groups might also be a good place to go for networking for direct to landlord deals.
Definitely.
So thank you very much for joining us today, Mark. And what we've covered, just to summarise, is that landlord letters are the best way to go. Keep sending those letters. Now, I know that you certainly have been persistent with your letters. Tell us a little bit about how many rounds you've sent. You've maybe lost count. And did you get replies straight away, or was it like second or third round?
I pretty much, I think, in most cases, every time I've sent like 300 letters, I've had at least one call. In some cases, I've had a couple of calls. Don't get me wrong as well, you get the calls or you get the emails where they ask to be removed from the list, which, you know, is fine. But yeah, I mean, I started my marketing campaign in March, probably. And I have slowed it down a little bit at the moment, but that's only because I've got a lot on. But I do still send them out. I do still keep doing it. And obviously I tweak it each time as well. You know, keep the letter format pretty similar, but do tweak it to make it interesting, make it engaging. But a lot of it is just, you just need your letter to land on that landlord's, you know, map when he needs it, because it's that moment. And that's where you find a lot of calls. Why have you rang? Well, I had your letter. I put it on the dining room table, or I put it on the side, and I just thought I'd give it a bell. And he's given it a bell because he's got a reason.
Yeah.
Or it's landed that morning, he's opened it up, and he's thought, you know what, I'm going to ring this lad, just see if there's any legs in this.
Yeah.
So it's very important to make sure that you keep the campaign going. You can't just send out 300, 500, 1,000 letters one month and then sit back and think you're going to get loads and loads of calls. It's about being persistent.
Yeah, absolutely agree. And this is why I laugh sometimes when people say to me, landlord letters don't work. I've sent out 3 lots. And I say, well, how many did you send? They sent 50 the first time, 50 the second time, 50 the third time. So that's a total of 150, where I always say 300 is the minimum. And sometimes you might not get, it might take the second round before you get calls. So one of our members, Roy, recently did a campaign of letters. They were these small campaigns to start off with, but then he got up with the program, you know, and sent a bigger campaign. But the first few times he didn't get any replies, and when he sent a slightly bigger campaign, he's now negotiating with 5 landlords. So it's I mean, it does work. It absolutely works, but people have got to work it, work the system, work the program.
Well, it's equally, if you're in an area of all student demand, if it's mid-term, you know, you can get them out there, but the properties that are empty, the landlords are going to come to you, but everybody else is quite happy because they're fully tenanted. So it's also, you know, June, July, August, you know, start at the beginning of the year as well. It's good to have a campaign after September as well, because landlords that haven't filled them, if it is a student area and you want to turn it into workers or professionals, you know, your campaigns at different times of the year are going to work in different areas better as well. So don't just think, oh, my area doesn't work. It may just be that those months, most of the landlords are fully tenanted, and there's no switch around.
And I love that point you just made about after the holidays. So New Year is after Christmas. People have time to reflect and think, or they might have had those annoying calls. So September times again after the holidays. Yeah, these are great times to get in touch, or where people have got a little bit more time, and also they've felt a little bit more pain, maybe at the time when they've been less busy. So thanks, Mark, for joining us. I'm going to wrap it up. Is there anything you want to add before we head off?
No, I think we've covered most things. Thank you for having me on.
Brilliant. And I'm going to put a link below if you want to get down with the program and watch the free online training. Also, we've got a link to some of our landlord letters that we're giving away free. Also, we've got a link to STANNP, where you can get a discount. STANNP is the easy way to send out your letters without having to write a single envelope. But I'm not going to talk about it today. I have talked about it in another video, and I'll link that up below. All right. Thank you so much for watching. It's goodbye from Mark.
Goodbye. Thank you.
And goodbye from me. See you soon. Bye for now.